Hi, everybody. Just preparing to get myself live here. Where's my window? Here we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Saturday, April 18th, 2020. This is Saturday. Okay. I'm doing an abbreviated POTUS report right now because we have a special roundtable coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. And it is a Uniting the Light roundtable, which we haven't had in a long time. It's going to be very exciting. We have the Q Signal joining me for this joint roundtable. His name is Aaron from the Q Signal. We will have we'll be simulcasting this on Ascension Radio with Audrey Ewis, so he will be joining us as well. We will also have my co-host Steve. In addition, we're going to have Austin Steinbart. We're going to also have Duncan O'Finian and James Gilliland from ESETI. What a lineup. Don't miss this, folks. So without further ado, this is going to be abbreviated. I will be doing an addendum to this probably on Sunday because there will be more information that I'll be adding to this. So let me get started. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me in the chat there. Okay, I got to move a few things out of my way so I can see. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? Yeah, Danielle, Karen, Sandra, how are you? Yeah, we will be back at 4 p.m. today Eastern Time in order to do this incredible lineup that we have, this roundtable, Uniting the Light. And it is talking about, we are going to be talking about where humanity is right now, where we're going, what we still have to overcome, things of that nature. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this POTUS report. Let's see how far we can get done, okay? I'm going to screen share the blog, as you know, starting on the 12th. Of course, our last POTUS report was appropriately mentioned, the king of earthly kings. What an amazing job. And I just mean like the leader of leaders. President Trump has really risen to the occasion as a leader of leaders. That's the way it appears. That's my observation. And so the king of earthly kings, it was Easter week, so I just kind of put it in those terms. Come and take a look at that report if you missed it. Okay. We also had the presidential message on Easter as well. Actually, let me scroll down since that's not working. Which you can come to the blog and take a look at. But he was thanking everybody, all the first responders and everybody who was working very hard to take care of the sick, and respecting and honoring everybody's right to observe the religion of their choice. There were also all 50 states at this point. I'm just going to go past it very quickly because at this point, all 50 states have declared a national emergency. So there's no need to kind of keep, to repeat that or anything. So let's go over this. There was help for small businesses and their workers. We want workers to have work, not to become dependent on the unemployment system. Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia and Small Business Administrator Jovita Carranza right. Paycheck Protection Program addresses this by offering 100% forgivable small business loans of up to $10 million. Whoa, that's pretty good. Democrats opt for blackmail over small business money, and the media covers for them. Yeah, this is huge. We're not surprised. Everyone who follows GoldFish Report's well aware of Mockingbird Media, well aware it's just, as the president has said, another branch of the Democratic Party. So that's what you get. So this week, Senate Democrats blocked a simple but urgent request to boost emergency relief, which we know about. In case you missed that, that's what was happening. Small businesses from $350 billion to $600 billion. Everything is an opportunity, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. Well, when you're a compromised Democrat, I guess you see it that way. Let's move along. Telehealth plays big role in coronavirus cure. Sure. Orlando Sentinel's reporting, as our country responds to the unprecedented coronavirus pandemic, we are working rapidly to change the way we practice medicine to keep people safe. Surgeon General Jerome Adams, and CMS Administrator Seema Verma write, for the duration of the pandemic, Medicare beneficiaries may now stay at home and use a commonly available interactive form of technology like FaceTime or Skype to have telehealth office visits. So I wonder how that's working. A lot of the elderly people who need this don't know how to use this technology. Ugh, I don't know how well that's going, but for those who can, I'm sure it's working pretty well. The big news again was that the WHO failed, okay, the World Health Organization. When President Trump limited travel from China in January, a move that bought America precious time to prepare for coronavirus, the World Health Organization slammed the decision. The record is clear. The WHO has lent its eh, imprimatur to Chinese disinformation and blessed China's slow response to its domestic outbreak, which likely caused a 20-fold increase in cases, the National Review editorial board writes. That we're going to talk more about that. Ivanka Trump lassos 1.6 billion for virus slammed small companies. Ivanka Trump, President Trump's job czar, and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin have rallied American banks to pony up 1.6 billion to help small businesses and Main Street Americans crushed by the coronavirus. Paul Bedard reports, and Ivanka Trump says, "We'll keep fighting for you." There is, this is a long transcript. I said I'm not going to read these transcripts, and let me tell you, they are long, folks. They are very, very long. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Sorry. See how long it is? I mean, who's going to? You can come to the blog, the goldfishreport.blogspot.com, and take a look at it. And let me tell you, if you get to the end, sorry, I guess I should have went to the next day. If you get to the end and you don't see the remainder of the transcript, email me and I'll send you the remainder of it. It is so long, folks. I could not post it all, honestly. Okay, so here we go. Let me just say hi to everyone in the chat. Hello, everyone. Hi, Germany. Hi, everybody. Hi, James. James Borg, you getting ready? James Borg from Euphoria Chronicles is going to be my wingman. Thank you so much, James. He's going to be doing the moderation for the upcoming roundtable, and we're so grateful for James. Thanks so much. Let me go back and to continue this because I want to make this real quick. Like I said, there'll probably be an addendum to this. Okay, let's go to April 13th. I did include this in my other report. Yeah, I probably did. Oh, I included it in my political theater, I think, a little bit. Okay. So with the FETs, here we have the president. The media can't rewrite history. Oh, my God. The media flipped out when the president brought out those two screens, big LCD screens showing, no, this is really what you said, because they like to they exploit the fact that most people forget things, unless you're sitting there with your fingers on the clips and have perfect memory. The media, as the president says, is trying to rewrite history and trying to reform your opinion about how you view, what the president's doing. Last month, most Americans surveyed by Gallup approved of President Trump's coronavirus response. Hospitals, state governments, and federal agencies all earned positive reviews too. The only institution that most people didn't trust was the news media. Many in the media got the story wrong from the start. They insisted the virus posed no real threat to Americans. They joined Democrats and the World Health Organization in attacking President Trump's early China travel restrictions as unnecessary, even xenophobic. They parroted Chinese government propaganda to make their case. I guess, well, that's going to come out pretty soon, why they're doing that. And I mean financially. Responsible journalists and politicians would own up to these failures and vow to fix them. Instead, irresponsible ones are attempting to rewrite history. While they downplayed the virus and its risks, President Trump took action. Here's just a sample of what his administration has done over the past 3 months. On January 29th, the president assembled the coronavirus task force. 2 days later, he declared a public health emergency and restricted travel from China. As you all recall, he went on and addressed the nation, and that's when he restricted. No, that was not on February 4th. I'm sorry, that was not on January 29th. Later he did this. Okay. Yeah. It was in March. So on February 4th, so that was January 29th already. He was up ahead of this, right? On February 4th, President Trump vowed to protect Americans in his State of the Union address. Oh, this was the day, exactly. And issued emergency use authorization for medical devices. On February 24th, he requested $2.5 billion from Congress to combat the virus's spread. So we all recall when the president came on, and we were all very shocked that he said that we were going to be banning travel, I'm sorry, um, uh, I would say, I'm saying imports. They're not imports. People who are traveling inbound to the United States were blocked except for the UK, right? And then that changed eventually. So here we have on March 6th, the president signed coronavirus preparedness funding into law. Between March 11th and March 18th, he restricted travel from Europe, declared a national emergency, and issued aggressive national coronavirus guidelines, and signed the Family First Response Act. By the end of March, he'd signed a historic $2.2 trillion economic relief package negotiated by the administration into law. And by April 9th, more than 2 million Americans had been tested for coronavirus, by far the most testing of any country on earth. The same day, Vice President Mike Pence announced that the Paycheck Protection Program had already approved more than $125 billion in forgivable loans in fewer than 5 full days of operation. When pundits are wrong, their instinct is to divide Americans, not unite them. Real leaders, Democrat or Republican, don't do this. They work together to get things done. This morning, Governor Andrew Cuomo highlighted his working relationship with President Trump, who he praised for delivering on his promise to help New York. If you do the right thing by New York, I'll say it, Governor Cuomo said. Okay, so here we have, and we also have the First Lady who missed reading Easter stories to the children this year, did read an Easter story on video and published that. So you might want to come to the blog, take a look at this video. I'm not going to play it because I want to get through this very quickly today. And of course, it was Little Rabbit. How appropriate. Follow the rabbit. Oh, indictments are coming, folks. Indictments are coming. Okay, photo of the day. Here you have the president with the vice president, and of course, social distancing seating in the press briefing room at the White House as well, which we're all familiar with now. This is it here. This is our GoldFish Report political theater on Monday with the FETs. This is the COVID-19 truth, lies, and decisions. So don't miss this. Please come and take a look at this video. And if you have missed the news, you can go there and check that out. I'm also going to check in. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, give a thumbs up if you like the video. That'll probably help, even though, yeah, wait until we have this interview coming up very soon. I'm very psyched about it. So, thanks for reminding everybody, James. Again, let's get through this pretty quickly if we can here. We have President Donald Trump announce his addition to the White House staff, which we all knew about. This was President Trump announced the addition of Kevin Hassett to serve as senior advisor to the president. Hassett returns to the White House as a special government employee and will work closely with President Trump's economic team. Previously, Hassett served as the 29th chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. So he's clearly pretty qualified for that position. We have, as I said before, more about the WHO, the World Health Organization funding, and the president says the organization must be held accountable. So the West Wing reads, Trump pulls WHO funding, says organization must be held accountable. President Trump made it official yesterday that the administration was halting money to the World Health Organization, the international body that said in January that COVID-19 could not be spread by human-to-human contact, and praised China's response to the virus. Fred Lucas reports in the Daily Signal. They clearly got it wrong. Our countries are now experiencing, look all over the world, tremendous death and economic devastation because those tasked with protecting us by being truthful and transparent failed to do so, the president said. China broke the World Health Organization. The U.S. has to fix it or leave it. I say we leave it. Because it's been impotent. It's not served its function. It's broken, as the president said. CNN anchor John King admits that the World Health Organization, oh my God, let me read that again. CNN? I can't believe I said it. Anchor John King admits that the World Health Organization dropped the ball in its early response to coronavirus, echoing criticisms from President Trump. I'm not going to defend the WHO, he said, noting that their response was flat footed. It did overly trust China. The president is right about that. Okay. Very good. Well, hey, we're getting a little bit of truth from CNN. I think they have to see the writings on the wall, folks, because we are the news now. And if they're not going to report the truth, they're going to fail. They are failing. They have been failing. They'll be obsolete. That's what's going to happen. So President Trump scored a major diplomatic victory this week when he brokered a deal between the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, which is OPEC, and Russia to limit their production. We had all the surplus. Demand was low since nobody could go anywhere. Look at the prices, under $2 a gallon in the Northeast. Woo! That's pretty good. Credit to, although we can't really go anywhere. Credit to Mr. Trump for using U.S. global influence to mitigate the mayhem. The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes. Okay, Tim Miller was to point where he was going to have to make some really tough choices. And that's, of course, these are some of the things that were talked about in that political theater report about, truth, lies, and decisions. So there was a lot of difficult decisions. And one of them was the president deciding to reopen the country, knowing that, there could be a second wave of coronavirus outbreak. And he said it was probably the most difficult decision he's had to make thus far. And so here we have the president, more on this, the president demanding accountability from the World Health Organization. Here he says President Trump is placing a hold on all funding to the WHO while its mismanagement of the coronavirus pandemic is investigated. The American taxpayers provide $400 million to $500 million in funding to the WHO each year, but the WHO has failed them. China, on the other hand, provides just around 1/10 of the funding that the United States provides, because we have been the sheep and the workhorse and the debt slaves for everything going on the planet, basically. And President Trump's going to put an end to that. That's why the tariffs are necessary. Everybody has to pay their fair share. If you're going to put a tariff on our products, there's going to be a tariff on yours internationally. And that's fair. That's called fair trade, isn't it? Okay. The American people deserve better from the WHO, and no more funding will be provided until this mismanagement, cover-ups, and failures can be investigated. President Trump will continue fighting the coronavirus outbreak and will redirect global health aid to others directly engaged in the fight. Investigating the WHO's failed response. Well, the WHO's response to the coronavirus outbreak has been filled with one misstep and cover-up after another. Despite the fact that China provides just a small fraction of the funding that the United States does, the WHO has shown a dangerous bias toward the Chinese government. The WHO repeatedly parroted the Chinese government's claims that the coronavirus was not spreading between humans, despite warnings by doctors and health officials that it was. Taiwan contacted the WHO on December 31st after seeking reports of human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus, but the WHO kept it from the public. So they were suppressing that information publicly. This is amazing. The WHO praised the Chinese government's response throughout January and claimed there was no human-to-human transmission, despite the fact that doctors in Wuhan were warning there was. See, the WHO is behind it. Clearly, it looks like to me, the observation I'm making from this is that the WHO was behind this depopulation agenda that was apparently occurring in Wuhan. According to 20 million cell phone mobile users missing, they can't all be bots, folks. They can't all be bots, right? That's quite significant. And what are they saying to control and spin that story? We'll talk about that another time. So let's keep going on, okay? The WHO has shown it is not prepared to prevent, detect, and respond to a serious infectious disease crisis like this. The WHO lacks the structure to ensure accurate information and transparent data sharing from members, which make it vulnerable to misinformation and political influence. The United States seeks to refocus the WHO on fulfilling its core missions of preparedness, response, and stakeholder coordination. The United States is also calling for reforms to promote transparency and data sharing, hold member states accountable for abiding by the international health regulations, increase access to medicines, and counter China's outsized influence on the organization. Okay, here the president has announces Great American Economic Revival industry groups. These are the groups, the main groups that are going to be involved when he starts to restart the this revival, as he called it, of our economy. You can go to the blog here and take a look. I'm not going to read them all. Here is also remarks by President Trump in the press briefing room, talking about the airlines, the payroll support program. It's a long. It's not as long as the other ones, but I think you should come to the blog and take a look at it to get all of the details, because I am summing them up in these other stories that I'm reporting. So sorry that I'm scrolling. I hope this, yeah, actually this is quite long. This is long. Sorry, I'm scrolling, folks. I just want to get through this real quick. Okay, so let me just check in real quick with our live chat. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you. Hi, Cheryl from Arizona. Nice to see you all. I'm trying to go through this very, very quickly. I'm going to be returning at 4 o'clock Eastern time for a very special Uniting the Light roundtable, and I have put the promotion out there, so you hopefully have seen it, and I'll try to screen share it for you before the end of this report. I'm trying to make this quick, so let's keep moving along. Okay, so April 17th. This includes press releases from the 16th and the 17th. So let me just get this here. Actually, I might not have to do an addendum. Okay, this is the transcript, which I'm not going to read. I'm summing everything up, the important points in these other stories that I'm reporting. So I apologize. I have to go through that, but okay. So outlined 3-phase approach to opening up America again. If you haven't heard what the president has proposed, this is how he proposes he's going to reopen our economy. Trump outlines 3-phase approach to opening up America again amid COVID-19. President Trump on Thursday announced a cautious 3-phase approach, one that still gives wide latitude to governors for reopening the shuttered economy in states that have had low rates of transmission of COVID-19. So this is, the president is putting, as he should, the power to govern a state in the hands of the governors. So, but within, the governors have to, they are going to be watched very carefully. He said that the president said they will be watched. He didn't say how exactly, what that check and balance system is going to look like, but let's just presume he's going to be doing it, because what they can't do is violate, encroach upon our civil liberties without some sort of emergent justification. However, they are saying that in, of course, the most densely populated states like New York and New Jersey, the spread of COVID-19 was far more widespread because it's most densely populated, and that's just common sense. We would expect that. Based on the latest data, our team of experts now agree that we can begin the next front in our war, which we're calling Open Up America Again, the president said. Opening up America again. We are not opening all at once, but one careful step at a time. To listen to the critics, the challenge is to choose between lockdowns and sickness, but the real challenge is to consider the whole of America's health, and that means charting a course that minimizes the suffering caused by the pandemic while avoiding the suffering caused by economic devastation. Dr. Tim Dougherty writes from Town Hall. For 7 long days, Democrats have been blocking the bill to refill the Paycheck Protection Program, and it's time for that to end. And of course, globalists are cringing, but Trump is right. The World Health Organization failed big time in alerting the world. We already discussed that. Here's another Mississippi disaster declaration. This is more of a summary of these guidelines for opening up America again. So here at the beginning, the next phase in the fight. President Donald J. Trump is continuing the fight against the coronavirus by beginning to reopen the country in a smart and safe way. The Trump administration is issuing new guidelines to enable individual states to reopen in phases using a deliberate, data-driven approach. Under these guidelines, states will reopen one step at a time rather than all at once. The guidelines will empower governors to tailor the phased reopening to address the situation in their state. Governors can begin phased openings at the statewide or county by county level. These guidelines were developed by the top medical experts from across the government and are based on verifiable metrics regarding the situation on the ground. The guidelines set clear benchmarks on new cases, testing, and hospital resources for state to meet to proceed toward a phase reopening. Criteria include a downward trajectory in cases presenting coronavirus like symptoms or a downward trajectory in positive tests. The criteria also includes hospitals having the resources to treat all patients without crisis care and a robust testing program for healthcare workers. Folks, if I'm talking too quickly, you can always go to the blog and read about this. Just go to the blog, thegoldfishreport.blogspot.com, and all the White House press releases are posted here. Okay, I do announce the date before I present what was posted on that date or for those two dates. I don't always post every single day. Sometimes I there's not really enough, and or it comes out late in the day, so I may post it the following day. Okay, let's see. The president's data based approach will protect the health and safety of Americans while laying the groundwork for economic growth. These guidelines will allow healthy Americans to safely return to work as conditions allow while protecting seniors and other vulnerable Americans. This is a historic mobilization. This has never been done before. Never. President Trump has led a historic mobilization to rapidly ramp up testing and the distribution of medical supplies. Under the Defense Production Act, the private sector responded with numerous companies stepping up to shift production to make medical supplies. The administration launched Project Airbridge to airlift supplies to the United States from around the world. The president surged resources and personnel to assist healthcare providers on the front lines. And the president directed the military and FEMA stood up emergency medical sites around the country, and 2 naval ships were deployed to assist hospitals. So there's just more the president's been doing. Come and take a look at this. The administration has provided emergency use authority for dozens of new commercial tests. The United States has now conducted more than 3.5 million tests, far more than any other country in the world. The Food and Drug Administration continues to authorize new antibody tests that will be critical as we move toward the next phase. Because of President Trump's decisive early action, we have been able to get needed medical supplies to our healthcare workers on the front lines and avoid deadly shortfalls. No American who has needed a ventilator has gone without one. States like New York, California, Washington, and Oregon have even been able to send extra ventilators to other areas that need them. So that was good news. And let's see. We're going to go to the 17th now. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to go past the press. I'm going to go past the transcript so you don't have to see the scrolling because I'm not stopping on the way. But as I said, I am summarizing the stories, the highlights of the press conferences in these other stories that I'm reporting on. So let's do this again. Hold on one second. Yeah. Here we go. Hold on just a second, please. I don't know. Looks like I had doubled. Okay, I don't know. I hope this, let's see. What day is this? April 12th? No, we got to do today's date. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Today's press releases are about, well, the truckers were at the White House earlier this week. The president was, showing gratitude towards and acknowledging that these truckers are they are the heart and soul of our economy. They are making it happen. They are shipping these products from one coast to the other and making sure that they're there for us when we need them. So he was paying homage to the truckers and definitely want to make sure that they were taken care of as well. They're playing a heroic role in helping America cope during this crisis, and truckers will be a critical part in helping our economy recover once this crisis is past us. So he's giving a big thank you to the truckers, the trucking industry. Okay, so here we have President Trump convenes members of Congress to serve on the Opening Up America Again congressional group. So here he hosted a phone call with Republican and Democrat members of the House Representatives and the Senate serving on the Open Up America Again congressional group. The president announced that he will soon provide guidance to America's governors to determine their ability to reignite the economies in their respective states. So you can go here and take a look at this in more detail. And here's the people who are on these, who are in this group. You can go here and take a look. And more recently here we are reopening America one careful step at a time. The president, we already discussed what those steps are going to be. It's a 3-phase plan, and the Democrats need to stop holding small businesses help hostage. The loan program to aid small businesses hit by lockdowns is now out of cash, yet Democrats still refuse to okay new funds unless their unrelated demands are met. Let's just say pork barrel demands. Okay, if small business closures spike, costing countless workers their jobs, Americans shouldn't forget the Dems' cynicism and where it came from. Yeah, we all know people who have had to been forced to close their businesses down. It's unfortunate. My favorite bagel shop, mom and pop, was completely cleaned out and empty. I don't know where I'm going to go get my favorite bagels now. I'm really disappointed. Whatever. We have to adapt, right? Okay, experience of a lifetime. Truck drivers react to being saluted by Trump at the White House. Fox News reports President Trump celebrated American truckers on Thursday for their work keeping our country supplied during the coronavirus. Joshua Nelson reports. Getting the honor and respect that I think 3.5 million truck drivers deserve was just heartwarming because it was not personally me, it was all of us doing our jobs, said Stephen Richardson. And so here's a quick video I wanted to screen share to show you what that was like at the White House.
Spread shutdowns, truck drivers form the lifeblood of our economy, and for days and sometimes weeks on end, truck drivers leave their homes and deliver supplies that American families need and count on during this national crisis. Their routes connect every farm, hospital, manufacturer, business, and community in the country. From the moment the invisible enemy landed on our shores, America's 3.5 million truckers have never wavered at all, and they've never ever let us down. When we supply our country, we supply it through truckers. To every trucker listening over the radio or behind the wheel, I know I speak for the 330 million plus Americans that we say, thank God for truckers.
Hold on, folks. I just want to see if you caught something there. What was this? Hold on. No.
We say, thank God for truckers.
Okay. It was a POW flag up on the top of the White House in addition. So it was interesting to note that. Okay, so oh, sorry. I have to get my thing back here. I don't know. Hold on a second. I was shown a different flag. Oh, it might not. Okay. Not quite sure if this is, I don't know if this was Photoshop, but I'm going to screen share it and show it to you anyway. Because someone took a close-up and it actually, to me, looks like a Q, doesn't it? Maybe they swapped it out real quick. I don't know. Maybe somebody photoshopped it. I don't know. But it was interesting. I'm not saying this was official, folks. I'm just saying that I don't know. It kind of looks interesting. We can hope, right? We can hope. So that's it for today. It's we're going to be back in an hour for a very special roundtable. I'm going to screen share for you the promo that we have for this upcoming event, if I can find it. Just one second, please. Okay, here we go. So we're going to be joining forces with the Q Signal and with Ascension Radio, and hold on. Sorry. Here it is. Sorry it took so long. Okay, so let me screen share this so you guys can see what's coming up in 1 hour. So don't be late. Here we go. We have Uniting the Light YouTube live stream, joint roundtable with the Q Signal, Austin Steinbart, James Gittleman from ESETI, Audrey Ewis, and Ascension Radio. And of course, we also are going to have, there's some other surprise guests who are going to be popping in as well. So, I look forward to seeing you all there. It will be simulcast on Ascension Radio. You can take a look here, https://radio.mpaq.org if you want to follow it on the radio. This will be interesting. We will be talking to Austin via the phone. We will be joining other people by phone possibly and others by video. So it should be very interesting, folks. This is an interesting time. This is Uniting the Light. And please join us in the live chat and ask your questions as well. So thank you for joining me. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. And I want to thank all of our viewers in live stream. Where are you all? There you are. Wow. I want to thank you. I want to thank James Borg as well for what happened. Did we lose our live stream? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong page. There you are. There you are. Oh my goodness, I was on the wrong page. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Yeah. I think what you need to do is you need to realize that it doesn't really matter whether Austin is Q or not. Austin is joining us because of the message. Okay. That's what we're going to be talking about today is the message of what's happening right now. If you're going to be defamatory, you're going to be blocked. I've instructed James to remove you from the live chat if you're going to be rude and disrespectful, because that's not showing unity. Okay, that's showing division, which is really, and if that's what you're doing, then you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So folks, we will see you there in an hour. Thank you for joining me. And I don't know, where's my live chat button? Sorry. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. I'm not done. See you guys in an hour. Sorry about that.